Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be talking about that new Illenium album entitled "The Fallen Embers." He's got a handful of albums under his belt, and uh, he's had really great highlights and a couple of other moments on previous albums where I thought they could have been a little bit stronger. They didn't hit, might have not hit as hard as I would have liked them to. So I was interested in seeing what this new album was going to bring. There is a total of about 14 songs on this one. Um, so, without further ado, just gonna get right into it. The first track, "Blame Myself." This one features Tori Kelly. Um, I thought her feature was pretty decent. The vocals were nothing to write home about, but they weren't bad. So, solid stuff on her part. Um, I feel like this song sets the tone for what the listener should expect from this album and from Illenium as a whole. I feel like he's cemented himself as the kind of EDM artist that can easily cross over into the pop realm. He's got, I don't know, a really catchy sound and style, and it's really accessible and not necessarily hard to get into. So, he's got like this kind of all quasi like sad boy kind of approach to his music, which again makes it easy to digest. So, this song is like about the pain of realizing, an ex lover has moved on, and like going through the motions, trying to figure out how to process all of that. And so, he's got that headbanging trademark sound that he tends to have in his music. I felt like the melody at the drop was catchy enough. The synth isn't too harsh or anything hard on the ears. It's more of like a smooth whistle. He's tended to use synths that have that kind of sound before. The drums in this song are more low key compared to most of his hard hitting songs. So I felt like this was a soft start to the album. Moving right on to track number two, "Heavenly Side." The drops on this song were a lot more ambient than I would expect from the likes of Illenium. There are other artists that like to dabble into more ambient elements to their music, especially nowadays. So that was cool to see. Um, one thing I did notice, though, the lyrics are pretty repetitive on this song. There wasn't really any high energy during most of the song either, so it can make it kind of forgettable for some listeners. But I was thinking about it in terms of like uh, logistics for his live shows. I feel like this song would easily be one of those breather songs to throw in a set, to just kind of let the audience chill out for a bit. So I understand the functionality behind it. Moving on to track number three, "Fragments." We get the appearance from his signature snare that we hear from Illenium a lot in his older music. The layered production on this song genuinely makes me happy. The lyrics on this song can be considered sad, but juxtaposing that with the key of the song that it was written in makes it a lot more hopeful than sad for the listener. So do with that what you will. Moving on to track number four, "Sideways." This is the first track that I consider anything that had like really high energy up until this point on the album. The vocals from the featured artist named Valerie Broussard, they pierce through the guitar samples pretty well, but it's the drop that gets enhanced by sprinkling her vocals throughout it. Um, and they kind of alternate between her voice and this like arpeggiated melody, which I have a soft spot for. Sweet melody. My knees, wobble whenever I hear like those trance infused arpeggiated melodies. That's something that I'm a huge sucker for. So, a lot of artists have been doing that, and I wouldn't say now, but producers like Seven Lions definitely popularized that style. So it was really cool to hear Illenium's take on that. He's not exactly new to that style either. So I feel like this was the first big highlight on the album, in my personal opinion. Moving on to track number five, "First Time." Ian Dior is on this song. His vocals add like a pop punk flair to it. And paired with the guitar samples, this one's definitely going to please the pop punk kids and scene kids that gradually made the transition from rock music to electronic music. And, you know, you see a lot of them at raves nowadays. So this one's definitely gonna be the song that gets them hyped up. The melody of the song is okay, and honestly, the song isn't my cup of tea, but it isn't bad by any means. It, you know, it does what it needs to. So, you know, not necessarily a bad song, just not for me. Moving on to track number 6, You and Me. There were some interesting choices made with the vocals on the song. It features plenty of vocal stutters and chops, you know, akin to something like Skrillex's now signature style of using chopped up vocals and doing all sorts of crazy stuff to them. Honestly, though, I felt like the drops were a little bit underwhelming, but that's okay. Moving on to track number 7, Nightlight. The color of the synth playing the melody at the drop is really, really tasty. I really liked it. And the outro features some like a string ensemble. Not sure if they were actual strings or sampled strings. Either way, really nice touch. Kudos to Illenium for that. Moving on to track number 8, Hearts on Fire. There's a lot of lovely guitars paired with like shouty vocals on this song. Dabin was another collaborator on this track, and I enjoy his music a lot. So I was interested in seeing what you know, what he would bring to the song. And I could hear it during the drop. There was like an electric guitar playing, like kind of what I would consider a slow melody. It would just be like one, almost like power chords, just one note per measure. Sorry. So something that I wasn't necessarily expecting, but I thought it was pretty cool. Adabin has in his own music has a lot of guitar influenced sounds, and guitars are featured on his music prominently. So wasn't as flashy as I was expecting it to be, but it was pretty cool. And then, you know, the drums on this one were really, I guess, more amped up, so that was cool. I honestly can see this song being a pretty big hit. And the guitar tone that was used is pretty satisfying, so I enjoyed that one a lot. Moving on to track number 9, Lay It Down. This song has clean drops, and Cruella's on this song, by the way. I've been a fan of them since I think it was their Get Wet EP when Rain Man was still working with them. The usual quality from them. Slander is also on this song, forgot to mention. They add their own flair to the song as well, and I feel like they mesh pretty well with Illenium's style. So it was nice to hear them come together and make something as nice as it was. Honestly, this song is probably going to be the biggest hit, one of the biggest hits, if not the biggest, off the album. Definitely going to be a highlight during live shows as well. Moving on to track number 10, Losing Patience. Nothing Nowhere is on this song. He's like this emo rapper who has been slowly building his own fan base over the past couple of years. So wasn't expecting to hear him on this album at all. So that was a pleasant surprise. And you know, it was pretty cool to hear them coming together, him and Illenium, creating something cool together. The drops are sleek, pretty easy to get into, pretty digestible, easy to digest rather. And the feature is refreshing and adds a little bit of familiarity almost to it. It's almost like a taste of something you've had before, and a little bit of something that you've never had before. So that was pretty cool. Do with that what you will. Moving on to track number 11, In My Mind. This song has both Excision and vocal powerhouse Haylene. All of these artists, including Illenium, have been frequent collaborators. They've all worked with each other before on several different songs and projects. So, here they all come together once again to bring us a melancholic tune that we can headbang to. So, a whole lot of fun there. The first drop was really smooth and the most Illenium sounding thing that I've heard on the album thus far. And then the second drop, I can tell Excision was took the steering wheel on that one, and that one has a lot of gnarly, distorted growls and chops that add a lot of groove to this section of the song. The main melody is pretty memorable enough to keep the song on repeat for fans of both Excision and Illenium alike. They're going to be listening to it for a long time. So, super happy about that song. And then moving on to track number 12, Paper Thin. Honestly, wasn't a huge fan of the main melody on the song, but the drop was pretty cool. Features a lot more vocal chops and some of those whistle-like synths that we've heard from Illenium before. So I don't know if I liked it because it felt familiar or if it was just I just happened to enjoy the song. I don't know, but either way, I liked it. Track number 13, Crazy Times. I cannot remember the vocalist on the song, but there was a lot of heartbreaking delivery, and paired with the songwriting, that's what became most memorable to me. So if you want something that's going to make you feel things, all sorts of things, definitely recommend listening to that one. And then finally, moving on to the song, the closer to the album, Brave Soul. This one's just classic Illenium all around, all over the board. Um, from the whistle, synths, I don't know what else to call them, and the trademark dubstep drum patterns. This one felt like the most, um, almost like comfort food in a sense. Um, but yeah, all in all, I felt like this album was a bit of a mixed bag. I don't know if my expectations have just grown too astronomically high for our EDM, I guess, Wonder Boy, Illenium. Uh, but there was some filler, and then there were some tunes that inevitably will be forgotten as time goes on. But there were also plenty of highlights on this album. So again, it wasn't bad. Definitely not. I feel like Illenium is a hardworking artist and has managed to grow his fan base. It's grown exponentially over the last couple of years. I can't remember when I first heard of him, but when he came out with his remix of what's that Flume song? Say It, I believe it was. I was like, who is this guy? This guy's gonna be huge. And lo and behold, I mean, he's selling out like arena tours. This guy is being compared to other huge artists from years past and other eras. So I'm excited to see what he can do for electronic music in terms of bringing it back to the forefront of pop music. We might have a resurgence of that like we did back in the early like 2010s. So who knows? I'm really excited to see what he does next. I've seen him live before, so I'm excited to catch him again if he tours for this album. He probably will. And yeah, all in all, decent album. A bit of a mixed bag. I don't know if it's just my unrealistically high expectations or what it is, or maybe his music is just evolving in ways that I wasn't expecting it to. More power to him. I'm just excited to see what he does next. And yeah, if you watched this far, thank you. I appreciate that. If you got some music you'd like for me to listen to, send me a message, hit me up, let me know what you're listening to, and yeah, have a great day. Thank you.